Welcome to the final lesson. The deploy succeeded, production is running on NFT, and most teams would call it done right here. That's the mistake. A migration ends when it's archived, not when it ships, so this lesson walks through the 4 deliverables that actually close the project. A runbook for ops, a hands-on training session, updated audit docs, and an honest post-mortem. Think of these 4 deliverables as long-term insurance. The runbook is written for the on-call engineer who joins 3 months from now and needs to add a blocked IP at 2 in the morning. The training is 1 hour, half slides, half hands-on. The team that wrote the migration trains the team that runs it. Audit docs get the boring nftables to NFT language sweep, which saves you 40 hours next cycle. And the post-mortem is 2 pages of specifics, not platitudes, stored where the next migration will actually find it. Step back for a moment and look at the whole arc. Every lesson was pulling in one direction. Intro and context set the why. Assess and translate did the mechanical work. Refactor cut 60 rules to 5. Plan and justify made it real on paper. Execute put it on the wire, and close is where you are now. 12 lessons, 1 shipped fleet. You're standing at the right edge of that picture. So the first deliverable is the runbook. 6 sections, plain language, copy-paste commands, the things an on-call engineer actually needs at 2 in the morning when something is on fire. Daily ops at the top because that's what gets used most. Add an IP, remove an IP, list the rule set, check the counters. Then health checks, rollback, debugging, escalation, change procedure. The rule of thumb at the bottom is the whole point. If an engineer who joined 6 months after you can't follow it, rewrite it. Deliverable 2 is training. 1 hour, once a quarter, hands-on with a test VM, because reading a runbook isn't the same as using one. The first 15 minutes are concepts, the mental model, why we migrated. Then they read a live rule set, modify it, and finally break it on purpose and roll back in under 2 minutes. Every engineer leaves having added a rule, removed a rule, and recovered from a mistake. That's how muscle memory gets built. Deliverable 3 is the one teams forget, and it's the one that bites you a year later. nftables doesn't just live in config files, it's embedded in SOC2 control descriptions, PCI evidence packs, vendor questionnaires, onboarding wikis, incident runbooks. So you grep recursively across every documentation tree you own, and you fix each hit, old language out, nftables language in, evidence attached, auditor notified. The goal is simple. Next year's auditor opens these docs, sees NFT, and asks no questions. Deliverable 4 is the post-mortem, and the rule is 2 pages, signed, dated, specific. Not lessons learned theater. 3 columns. What worked, what surprised us, what we'd change. The ext module audit miss, the calico race during the cube proxy flip, the compliance scanner hard-coded to nftables save. Those go in writing, so the next migration team reads it before they plan. That's the compounding effect. Each migration teaches the next one. Step back for a moment and ask why all this archive discipline matters. 3 reasons. First, a successful migration becomes invisible. Nobody pages on it, nobody talks about it. And that silence is built, not given. Second, the runbook and post-mortem you finish today become the kickoff doc for the next migration 2 years out. And third, closure is the ceremony that locks shared muscle memory into the team before people rotate away. So here's the artifact that ties it all together. 1 page, 3 columns, 18 boxes. Technical on the left, NFT everywhere, legacy masked, counters saved, rollback drilled. Documentation in the middle, runbook, compliance, training, post-mortem, all written down and findable. Organizational on the right, CR closed, CAB notified, budget reconciled, retro done, project archived. Print it, walk it, every box gets a check, or the project isn't closed. And the checklist isn't theoretical. Here are the 3 drills that actually produce it. Write the runbook and test it by handing it to a junior on call. If they can't resolve a 2 a.m. page in 15 minutes, rewrite it. Run the training live with real VMs and run it twice. The first one's always rough. Then write the post-mortem and put the hard sentence in. We missed X because we assumed Y. That's the one the next team needs. Now, the failure modes. 5 ways teams think they've closed when they haven't. Declaring victory at deploy, the runbook isn't written, and 6 months later nobody knows NFT. Writing the runbook for yourselves instead of the junior who'll read it at 2 a.m. Skipping training because they have the docs. Copy-pasting a post-mortem full of platitudes nobody can act on. And the quietest one, no formal closure ticket. So the project just trails off until an auditor asks if it's done and nobody can answer. So that's it. 12 lessons, an 8-stage playbook, 4 scenarios, and a fleet-running NFT in production. Tag the commit, close the ticket, and let the team forget about it. That's the real measure of success. The project is closed. The work continues. And the muscle you've built here, it'll serve you for the next migration.